Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope we are doing great today. Happy Saturday. Got a lot of matchups I'll be covering here today, so be sure to like and subscribe. Check out all my betting links in the description below if you guys want to get in on the action today, get in on this big slate. And also go ahead and sign up with Bro Throw, guys. Join my private betting group. Going to be posting a teaser on Bro Throw. We're hot. We're undefeated on teasers so far. Hopefully we can keep the streak going this weekend. That link is in the description below. And also, guys, I'm going to be doing this thing for my members. It'll start being a regular thing. So if you guys are a member, comment down below member vibes. I'll be shouting out a member in every video from here on out, just for fun. Just give you guys a little shout out. I'll just pick a random person. So comment member vibes. Let's get the chat rolling, baby. And yeah, we'll hop in a huge college football slate today. We're going to start. I'm not going to cover all the top 25 just because some of these top 25 teams are like 50-point favorites. And I just stay away from those games. Those games are so hard to even cover because you can't even do any kind of money line action or, yeah, it's tough. So we're going to start with Oklahoma versus Nebraska. Oklahoma opening up as 11-point road favorite with the over-under at 65.5. Yeah, we got Nebraska firing their coach, Scott Frost. They just have not looked good. 1-2 right now, 0-3 covering the spread. Yeah, Oklahoma looking good so far, 2-0. You know, coming off a couple, you could say cupcake teams here, beating Kent State and UTEP. And then Nebraska coming off a Georgia Southern loss, a team that they paid to come to their house. They've looked very bad this season here. That's why, it makes sense with the coach fire. Oklahoma 18-2 in their last 20. I mean, they're playing great here. 6-1 against Nebraska. Yeah, I just don't trust Nebraska. A lot of stuff going on within that organization right now. I don't love it. Oklahoma playing great. Give me Oklahoma minus 11, and their money line's relatively cheaper, to be honest. So throw Oklahoma in your money line parlays as well. Next matchup, we got Georgia versus South Carolina. Georgia opening up as road favorites at minus 25-point road favorites with the over-under at 55. They're minus 3,000 on the money line. If you're doing like a 10 to 16, 20 game parlay, definitely throw Georgia in there. But yeah, Georgia coming into this 2-0, beating Stanford 33-0, and then dominating Oregon in their first game. South Carolina coming out that 44-30 loss against Arkansas. Georgia 6-1 against South Carolina. 6-0 covering on the road right now. Yeah, look, it's going to be tough for South Carolina. Very tough at home. I mean, yeah, Arkansas was definitely a big test for South Carolina. Georgia's like a whole nother level above that. Give me Georgia minus 25 here. Next matchup, we got California versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame opening up as a 12-point home favorite with the over-under at 41. We have Notre Dame 0-2 right now. Cal 2-0, playing good here. Yeah, Notre Dame, they've been playing very bad here. Yeah, Notre Dame with a new quarterback, Drew Pine. They're Tyler Buchner out for the season. Yeah, this Notre Dame team, 0-2, not playing good. Definitely on high alert here. Cal coming up back-to-back wins. Nice little 2-0 start for California here. I just simply don't trust Notre Dame here. New quarterback. Team's already been a letdown. I think their season's pretty much over, to be honest. As far as like any kind of college football playoff hopes, that's out the window. I'm gonna take a shot with Cal plus 12 here. It's a good line. 2-0. Notre Dame new quarterback. We'll see how he plays. They've been underperforming here. Give me Cal plus 12 on the road. Next matchup, probably one of the better matchups on the day. We got BYU versus Oregon. Oregon opening up as a 3.5-point home favorite with the over-under at 58. BYU currently 2-0. 2-0 covering the spread. Oregon just 1-1. BYU coming off that 26-21 against Baylor. And then Oregon coming off a 70-14 win over Eastern Washington. BYU 5-0 against the Pac-12, so they've had success against the Pac-12. Oregon 20-0 at home. Very good home team here. BYU, both their running backs, Gunnar Romney and Puka Nakua, are questionable. They did miss last game, so hopefully they do return. That'd be a big plus for BYU. But yeah, BYU's looked great this season. Coming off a huge Baylor overtime win in their last game. That was definitely a test right there, and they definitely pulled through. I'm liking BYU plus 3.5. I think it's a great line. 2-0. They're playing good football here. Give me BYU plus 3.5 and a good one. Next matchup, we got Ole Miss versus Georgia Tech. Ole Miss opening up as a 17-point road favorite with the over-under at 63. Ole Miss 2-0 right now. And Georgia Tech 1-1, 0-2 covering the spread so far. Mississippi coming off a 59-3 win against Central Arkansas. Georgia Tech coming off that 35-17 win against Western Carolina. Ole Miss 5-0 in September. Going to get done in September. Georgia Tech just 1-7 covering at home right now. 1-7 in their last 8. Going to be tough against this Ole Miss team here. That's going to be moving the rock all up and down the field here. So I'm going to take a shot with Ole Miss minus, by the half a point, get a minus 16.5. And throw them in your money line parlays as well. Next matchup, we got Penn State versus Auburn. Penn State opening up as a 2.5-point road favorite with the over-under at 48. Penn State currently 2-0, 2-0 covering the spread. Auburn also 2-0, but they're 0-2 covering the spread. Penn State coming off a 46-10 win against Ohio. Auburn coming off a 24-16 win over San Jose State. Penn State 9-0 in September. Been pretty good in September. Auburn 12-1 in September. Going to be a battle here. I think I'm going to lean with Penn State on the road in a tight one. I just like Penn State a little bit more on both sides. Should be a really good one here. But I think I'm going to take Penn State on the road in this one. Next matchup, we got Troy versus Appalachian State. App State opening up as a 13.5-point home favorite with the over-under at 52. Yeah, I think game day is here, so it'll be a rival matchup here. We got Troy coming off a 38-17 win over Alabama A&M. App coming off a huge 17-14 win against Texas A&M. Big upset. App State, I mean, they've been dominant against Troy. They've murdered them like every year. Coming off a 45-7 win last year. In App State, man, coming off the A&M win, man, they got all the momentum at home. Man, it's gonna be tough for Troy. App State playing such good football here. Give me App State minus 13.5 at home, and definitely like them for a money line addition as well for your parlays. Next matchup, we got Louisiana Monroe versus Alabama. Bama opening up as a 49.5-point home favorite with the over/under at 61.5. We got Bama, 2-0, coming off a crazy Texas win. That was a thriller. Monroe 1-1 so far. Monroe coming off a 35-7 win against Nicholls State. Bama coming off that 1-point win against Texas. Yeah, Bama sneaking out of there with the win. No Tyler Harrell for Bama at wide receiver. Monroe 0-15 on the road, 0-10 against the SEC. I mean, yeah, this Monroe team, very bad. Bama's going to murder them. We know that. 49.5-point favorites. That's a lot of points. Bama's got to be perfect. Too expensive here, but figured I'd cover Bama since they're Bama. I think I'm going to take a shot. Not in love with it, but take a shot with Monroe plus 49.5. Man, I think it at least got a couple field goals or something. I think they can cover. But to win by 50 is just a lot, man. It really is. I would take a shot with Monroe plus 49.5. If you could, get Bama in a 13-point teaser. You can get Bama minus like 36, 37. I think that's a better play. Next matchup, we got Liberty versus Wake Forest. Wake Forest opening up as a 17-point home favorite with the over-under at 63.5. Liberty 2-0, 1-1 covering the spread. Wake Forest also 2-0, 2-0 covering the spread right now. Liberty coming off a UAB win 21-14. Wake Forest coming off that 45-25 win against Vandy. Yeah, Liberty without their quarterback. Their starting running back is out. Starting wide receiver is out, and Daniels. I got a lot of injuries on skill positions for Liberty in this matchup. Wake Forest playing good. Got their quarterback back. 10-0 at home. Give me Wake Forest minus 16.5 at home. Throw them in your moneyline parlays. Next matchup, we got Mississippi State versus LSU. Mississippi State opening up as a 3-point road favorite with the over-under at 53. Mississippi State 2-0, 2-0 covering the spread. LSU 1-1, 1-1 covering the spread, coming off that Florida State, they're coming off a Southern win 65-17, but they did have that Florida State 1-point loss. Mississippi State coming off a 39-17 win against Arizona. Yeah, I'm liking Mississippi State here. 5-0 covering on the road. I just love their offense here. Got a great offense. I'm going to take Mississippi State minus 2.5 on the road. I like them getting it done in LSU here. Next matchup, we got Missouri State versus Arkansas. Arkansas opening up as a 26-point home favorite with the over-under at 59.5. Arkansas 2-0, 2-0 covering the spread. Looks like Missouri State getting their first game action of the season. Arkansas coming off that 44-30 win against South Carolina. Not seeing much info on Missouri State. I could be wrong about their first start, but nonetheless, love the Hogs getting into the top 10 here. 5-0 at home, 8-0 covering the spread in September. Got a lot of momentum coming off, really good start to the season, coming off a nice South Carolina and Cincinnati win. Yeah, loving the Razorbacks at home. We'll take Arkansas minus 26 here. Next matchup, we got Texas Tech versus NC State. NC State opening up as a 10.5-point home favorite with the over-under at 56. Both teams 2-0, 1-1 covering the spread here. Texas Tech coming off that 33-30 win against Houston. Very nice win for Texas Tech. NC State coming off a 55-3 win against Charleston Southern. We got NC State 11-0 at home right now. Playing amazing at home in this one. Gonna be a good one here. Texas Tech coming off that Houston win here. I just think it's gonna be tough. NC State's got that defense and a good offense at home where they've been dominant. I'm liking NC State at home here. I'm gonna buy the point. I'm gonna take NC State minus 9.5 and throw them in a moneyline parlay too. Next matchup, we got Toledo versus Ohio State. Ohio State opening up as a 31-point home favorite with the over-under at 62.5. Toledo 2-0, 1-1 covering the spread. Ohio State 2-0, 0-2 covering the spread. We got Toledo coming off a 55-10 win against UMass. Ohio State coming off a 45-12 win against Arkansas State. Ohio State hasn't been able to cover this season. Hasn't been able to cover. They've been big favorites. Haven't covered. Jackson and Jigba is questionable, which he hasn't played. So they definitely have some wide receivers dealing with some injuries, which has been hurting them. Been hurting their offense. Toledo 7-1 covering in their last 8. Ohio State 8-0 at home. Fully expect Ohio State to win here, but they have not been able to cover, being big favorites. Toledo's looked very good in their first 2 matchups. Wouldn't be surprised Toledo gets some scores here. Gets the cover. Man, I'm going to take a shot with Toledo plus 31.5 on the road. Ohio State hasn't been able to cover. That's my only downfall with Ohio State. The offense hasn't looked amazing. We'll take a shot with Toledo plus 31.5. Next matchup, we got Michigan State versus Washington. Washington opening up as a 3.5-point home favorite with the over-under at 56.5. Michigan State 2-0, 2-0 covering the spread. Washington also 2-0 and 2-0 covering the spread. Yeah, I mean, God, loving Michigan State, a ranked Michigan State getting underdog value on the road. Absolutely love it here. Michigan State coming off a 52-0 win against Akron. Washington coming off a 52-6 win over Portland State. I mean, yeah, maybe it's a trap game. I don't know, but getting Michigan State plus 3.5 on the road, I'm going to take that all day long. Give me Michigan State plus 3.5. Next matchup, we got Pittsburgh versus Western Michigan. Pitt opening up as an 11-point road favorite with the over-under at 48. Pitt 1-1, 0-2 covering the spread. Western Michigan 0-2, 0-2 covering the spread right now. Pitt coming off that 27-34 loss against Tennessee. Western Michigan coming off a 37-30 win against... Oh, the stat was actually wrong. They're 1-1. It says they're 0-2, but that is indeed wrong. They are coming off a Ball State win, 37-30. Yeah, Slovis for Pitt is questionable. Their quarterback, Nick Patty. So Pitt's got some quarterback issues here. They are 6-0 covering on the road here. I just trust Pitt. Pitt's got that defense. Offense, I think it'll still be fine here. I'm going to take Pitt minus 11 on the road. Next matchup, we got USF versus Florida. Florida opening up as a home favorite, as a 24-point home favorite with the over-under at 58.5. USF 1-1, 0-2 covering the spread. Florida 1-1, 1-1 covering the spread here. We got USF 0-12 on the road. Absolutely horrible road team. Coming off a Howard win 42-20. Florida coming off that 26-16 loss against Kentucky. Tough loss for Florida last week. But yeah, I'm liking Florida at home. 17-3 at home where they've been dominant here. I think it's going to be tough for USF. Florida's going to have that D. They're going to be all over them. I like Florida minus 23.5 at home. Next matchup, we got LA Tech versus Clemson. Clemson opening up as a 33.5-point home favorite with the over-under at 53.5. LA Tech 1-1, 1-1 covering the spread. Clemson 2-0, 1-1 covering the spread so far. La Tech coming off a 52-17 win over San Francisco, or Stephen F. Austin, I think. Clemson coming off a 35-12 win over Furman. Yeah, I think this is just a big number for Clemson. Clemson's not the best offensive team. They're not putting up crazy like numbers, even though they scored 35 and 41, but just them being 33.5-point favorites, I'm not in love with it. I don't like Clemson when they're big favorites. So I'm gonna take a shot with LA Tech plus 33.5 on the road. Next matchup, we got Miami versus Texas A&M. Got a good one here. A&M opening up as a 6-point home favorite with the over-under at 44.5. Miami 2-0, 1-1 covering the spread. A&M 1-1, 0-2 covering the spread. We got a quarterback change for A&M today. It looks like Max Johnson's getting the start over Haynes King. Miami coming off a Southern Miss win 30-7. A&M coming off an App State loss 17-14. Miami 5-1 covering on the road here. Now making the quarterback change, we'll see. The offense did not look good last week. They were struggling. Yeah, I like Miami plus 6. They're playing good football here. Playing good football. So I'm gonna take Miami plus 6. Honestly, if I were to do a straight bet, I would buy a 1.5. Take them plus 7.5. I think that's a great play, especially maybe if you throw them in a little 2-teamer. Gotta love that. We'll take Miami plus 6 on the regular spread, but ideally plus 7.5 on the road. Next matchup, we got San Diego State versus Utah. Utah opening up as a 21-point home favorite with the over-under at 48.5. Both teams are 1-1. San Diego State 0-2 covering the spread. Utah 1-1 covering the spread. San Diego State coming off a 38-7 win against Idaho State. Utah coming off that 73-7 win against Southern Utah. Big win for Utah before coming off that Florida loss, so they bounced back. Going to be tough for San Diego State. Have not looked good. Haven't been able to cover. Kind of not the best start to the season. Utah, despite that Florida loss, I mean, still big hopes for Utah here. Love the offense and defense at home. Kind of a big spread, but I just saw San Diego State, man. I saw what they did against Arizona, and that offense looked very bad for San Diego State here. And this Utah team can score on offense. I'm going to take Utah minus 20.5 at home. Throw them in your money, big money line parlays. Next matchup, we got UTSA versus Texas. Texas opening up as a 12.5 point home favorite with the over-under at 58. Both teams coming into this 1-0, 2-0 covering the spread. UTSA coming off that 41-38 win over Army. Texas coming off that 20-19 loss over Bama. Yeah, tough loss for Texas, man. They could have had that Bama win. Would have looked really good for them. I'm liking Texas, man. I mean, the way they played against Bama, that defense was crazy. They play the same way today. It's going to be tough for UTSA to really get any points. I like Texas minus 12.5 at home. Throw them in your moneyline parlays. And the last matchup I'll cover here, we got Fresno State versus USC. USC opening up as a 11.5 point home favorite with the over-under at 7-2. With the over-under at 72. USC 2-0, 2-0 covering the spread. Fresno State 1-1, 0-2 covering the spread. Fresno coming off that 32-35 loss against Oregon State. USC coming off a 41-28 win over Stanford. Yeah, I'm liking USC. I mean, they've just looked really good to start this season here. 12-0 against the Mountain West. Yeah, I like USC minus 11.5 at home. Throw them in your moneyline parlays. That's going to be it for the video. Good luck with your picks and parlays on Saturday. Hope you guys all cash out, and I'll see you guys Sunday. Have a good one.